Hello, I'm personal trainer Jesse Bird with the PSP team over at Fort Wayne Cold Lake, and today is our senior edition Fit Over 50 class. So for today, all you're going to need is a chair, a resistance band, or some soup cans, and some workout clothes. So make sure that they're comfortable and that you have training shoes as well. We're also going to have a bottle of water on the side for when we're resting, and be sure to have some music playing in the background as well, just to help get you through the workout, get you grooving. All right, and other than that, we're just going to jump right in. We're going to start off with our warm-up, and I'm going to do everything with you. So just do what I'm doing, and we'll just jump right to it. Okay, so I'm going to bring my chair back a little bit just to make sure you can see me. Oh, and one thing I'll mention, I have my chair out in the open area of the room, but at home while you're working out, I recommend putting that chair right up against a wall. I'm going to be in the middle just to show you different angles and everything, but safety's first. So make sure that that is a sturdy chair and it's on a sturdy part. All right, here we go. Okay, so for our first movement, we're going to do some chest swings to open up our chest area, shoulder joints. We're going to start off with our hands together. I'm going to go all the way out and back. Nice smooth movements here. Just try to breathe naturally. We don't want to be swinging too wildly here, especially if you have any kind of history of shoulder injuries or any kind of issues. Good. And at the very end, you want to squeeze your shoulder blades together just to wake those muscles up too. We're going to do one more here. And now we're going to switch to an overhead press with our arms. So with the arms, squeeze those fists as tight as you can. And we're going to bring them right up overhead, down, back up, down, back up. Good stuff. Good, we're going to keep doing that. We're going to mix it up just a little bit here. We're going to do the one arm, and now do the other. Now the same thing, one arm, and now do the other. All while doing this, we're squeezing our fists as tight as we can, working on that grip. Just breathe nice and slow. Get that blood flowing, heart starting pumping a little quicker. Excellent, excellent. Okay, now we're going to switch it up to our legs. So we're going to hold on to the upper part of our thigh here, and we're just going to do that, let that leg go through a full range of motion. There we go. Your joints may pop and click a little bit, and that's okay, as long as there's no pain. My joints are pretty vocal. It's no different than cracking your knuckles. It's just a release of gas coming from your joints. We want to get all those out now before we get to our workout. This is going to make sure that there's much less risk of injury and everything like that. We're going to get our body primed. Good stuff. Now we'll do the other leg. I'm just going to show you a side view here as well, just so you can see that my leg is going through this full range. I'm feeling just a bit of a stretch right at the end, and I'm actually leading with my heels. Now, if that's not comfortable for you, you can point with the toes, sure, but that's going to make it much less intense. So just kind of play around with that, see what works best for you for right now. For today's workout, this one is beginner friendly. Even if you have limited mobility, you can adjust. This one's just to kind of get everybody moving. So even if you don't think working out is for you, this one's still going to be a good class. You're still going to get something out of this. Next, we're going to do a few sit-to-stands. So now, if you don't have that mobility, just keep doing the leg extensions. Go back to the other leg while I'm doing this. Otherwise, what we're going to do is sit up straight and tall, and we're just going to go right up to standing and back down. And back up and down. We're going to do two more here. Excellent work. Okay, now we're going to open up the hip area a little bit. We're going to focus on each side one at a time. If you have any kind of hip injuries or any kind of history with your hips, be careful with this one. Otherwise, we're just going to go nice and slow here. So there shouldn't be any pain with our hands on our hips. We're just going to open that up, going out to the one side and coming back. And now same thing on the other side, opening up and coming back. Nice and slow, smooth motions here. Again, we're just kind of letting our body go through its own range of movement. Good. Other side. And again, if you hear any kind of clicking, popping, that's okay as long as there's no pain. All we're doing here is letting our body do what it's built and made to do. We're using our muscles, doing different movements that maybe we don't do every day, but by practicing it right now, it's going to carry over. We're going to have more energy, and day-to-day tasks are going to be easier. Things like grabbing groceries, things like that. Playing with grandkids on the floor. Good stuff, good stuff. All right, now we're going to go back and we're going to repeat. So we're going to do a couple more of those chest swings. I'm going to open. By now you may notice that you feel a little warmer. We got our blood pumping, our heart's pumping, bringing up the temperature in our muscles, getting them ready for safe exercise. And back to our overhead press here, so squeezing nice and tight. Good. This movement right here is one that we don't normally do every day, so we can utilize that. The more we practice it, the better we're going to get. And I'm sure you can feel it in the shoulders already, just having our arms up here with our fists tight. That does take work. All right, now we're going to go back to our leg extensions. Grabbing onto that right, or my right camera mirrors it. Letting that leg go into that full range of motion. And remember to keep breathing naturally while we're doing this. Good, okay, now the other side. Oh, that feels nice. Oh. I have a bit of a tight IT band, so I feel that quite a bit on the outer part of my thigh. I should do these ones more often. Good, okay, now we're going to do some sit stands. And we're going slow and controlled here. Try not to use too much momentum. We don't want to swing out of it. We're just going to do 4. Now our hip opener, start off with that right side, left, still breathing naturally. Good, now we're gonna do one more here on each side. Oh, my hips are clicking. That's good though. All right, excellent. Okay, so by now you should be feeling a little bit warm, and you got a bit of a sweat going on. That's all right, we're just gonna take a few minutes here to have a breather. I hope you got some water on the side. I'm encouraging you to have a quick sip before we start. And now that our bodies are all primed and ready to go, we're gonna jump right into it. Okay, our first one with our band, it's gonna be a seated band chest press. So we wanna have this band right up to about armpit level. We're gonna grab the band like so that we can keep our wrists in that neutral position.
And now while sitting up straight and tall, I'm gonna go forward and bring those hands together. I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna breathe in and breathe out as I push forward. Nice and slow on the return. Resistance bands are pretty unique actually for exercise equipment, because as the length changes, the amount of resistance changes as well. So it's different from using a dumbbell. And something that we can utilize here with this nice slow controlled movement. We're going to do just a couple more of these. Throughout here, I'm making sure my back is staying straight. If any time your back starts to round, just pull out for a moment, adjust your back, make sure you're in a good position before getting back into it. Keeping the whole core area tight here is going to help keep your back straight. One more. Good, and we're just going to rest here for a moment. Ooh. Gonna have a little sip of water, and now we're going to repeat that set one more time. Oh, excellent. Now rest is very important, so we're not going to just fly through it. We are going to take a moment to let our heart rate come down a little bit, let our grip rest up a little bit here. Ask yourself, how did that whole set feel? Did it feel easy? Was it too hard? Remember, resistance bands come in different resistances. Some are harder, some are easier, and as well as I mentioned, you can do soup cans also. But yeah. Okay, so I think that's probably good for our rest. So we are going to jump right back in here. This time, I'm going to show you a side view, okay? Just so you can kind of see what I'm doing with my arms. I'm trying to keep them roughly on the same plane throughout the movement. What I like to say is imagine you're dragging your hands and your arms on a tabletop, and I have two tabletops right next to me. So I'm just dragging along that invisible tabletop, keeping my shoulder in a good position. Okay, so with that band right underneath the arms, I'm going to sit up straight and tall, and we're going to go into it just like last time. Good, so keep doing it just like I am. That's 4, we're halfway there, we're going to go to 8 here. Last one. Excellent work. Okay, so we'll put our band down for just a moment here. We'll have a breather, and then we're going to go on to our next exercise. So while we're resting up, be sure that your music's still going, you're good to go in that sense. Yeah, and just try to have a breather. Rest is something that definitely is much more important than people give it credit for. We're trying to get our body back into a relaxed state so that we can continue to challenge it in a way that's going to help us adapt, and it's going to make overall life easier. By putting in the time now, we're going to have more energy tomorrow. Movement is medicine, as I like to say. Okay, so now that we've had a moment for our heart rate to come down, next up, we're going to do an exercise to bring it back up. And again, we're going to challenge it, we're going to adapt. We're going to do our sit stands next. Now, for these, I'm going to do my chair at the side again, just so you can see a side view. Same things apply. So I'm going to try to move without using a lot of momentum. I'm going to let all my power come from my legs here. I'm going to focus on keeping my feet flat on the floor and trying to drive up from my heels, okay? If this one is too challenging and if mobility is limited for you, you can always work on those leg extensions as well, just like we did in the warm-up, going nice and slow, 8 on each side, okay? Otherwise, we're going to jump right into it. All right, here we go. So back straight, we're gonna keep our core tight. We're gonna build the tabletop with the arms, and then up we go. For these, I like to breathe in on the way down and breathe out as you come up. Slow and controlled here. Last one. All right, excellent work. Ooh. So now you may have noticed the heart rate's going up, sweating a little bit. That's okay. We're gonna rest here, have a little bit of water. These ones are a very functional exercise. If you think about day-to-day life, how often do we need to get up from a seated position or up from the floor even? By working on it here, we're gonna practice and make sure that we're primed and we're ready. We always want to be able to get up comfortably. You know, mobility is important. All right, now I'm gonna have some water, and then we'll continue. Okay, so we're gonna jump in here again, and we're gonna do our last set of our sit-to-stands. I'm gonna do a bit of a creative diagonal angle here, just so you can kind of see a little bit of the best of both worlds. So I'm gonna pull back a little bit though, just so you can see all of me. All right, here we go. This one's our last set for this exercise. Remember, breathe in as you go down and breathe out as you come up. We only got two more. Last one, you can do this. Oh, all right, good work. Okay, so that's it for our sit-to-stands for today. We're just gonna rest up for a brief moment. Again, have some water, just try to have a breather. In just a few moments, we're gonna go on to our next exercise. Okay, so for our next exercise, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit before we go into it. This one is going to help us work on the muscles of our back as well as our biceps. So if we think of any kind of pull movement, so anytime you're pulling groceries out of the car or pulling, let's say, some old Christmas decorative stuff out of a spot from the crawl space or anything like that, anytime you're pulling, those are the muscles involved. The back muscle, or the muscles of the back, take up quite a bit of what I like to call muscle real estate. So they take up a good surface area of our back. So they're muscles that we want to make sure that we work on and that we don't let deteriorate at all. So by again challenging them like we're doing here, we're going to make sure that we stay primed and healthy and good to go. All right. So let's just jump right into it. With these ones, we're going to do low rows. So I'm going to keep this diagonal angle here so you can see a little bit of both sides. What I'm going to do is put this band right on the bottom of my feet, like so. I'm going to keep my feet relatively close together. And keeping my back straight, I'm going to pull right next to myself. Breathe in as your hands go forward. And breathe out as you pull back. Good stuff. We've got one more here. Excellent work. Excellent. Okay, so we're going to rest a little bit and then we're going to repeat that one more time. So again, we're working on all those muscles in the pulling action that are involved for pulling. I didn't mention it last night, but with the one we did in the beginning, the chest press, that's actually working the opposite muscles. So those are for all pushing movements. So if you think of doing some kind of yard work, anything where you're pushing or pushing open the back gate or anything like that, anytime you're doing pushing, that's those muscles involved. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Next up, we're going to do our last set here of our band rows, and then we're on to our last exercise, and then we're going to cool down and we're all done. Okay, let's jump right to the second set. So same as the first, I'm going to put the band on the bottom of my feet, let my heels rest on the floor. I'm going to sit up straight and tall, keep my core tight, my back straight, and I'm just going to pull my arms back. Breathe in as they go forward, breathe out as you pull back. Nice and slow here, not using any momentum. You want to have control. You'll notice I'm pausing right at the end as well, just to make sure I get the most out of every rep. Most out of every row. Got one more here. All right, excellent work. Okay, so I'm gonna set the band on the back. I just have a quick sip of water here. Just give me a moment. All right, good stuff. Okay, so for our full body workout, let's just think about it for a moment. We worked on our muscles that do the pushing. We worked on our muscles that do the pulling. So that's upper body done. We've worked on our legs, doing our sit to stands. Because using those ones, that's actually quite a bit of our muscles that are involved in it with our legs. So we're well on our way for our full body workout. The last thing that we do want to work on is our grip strength for today. Now, grip strength is very important. It works, if you have a higher grip strength in older age, you're actually much less likely to get musculoskeletal diseases. So that's something that's very important. And if you think about any time you're picking something up, we always need to use that grip in one way or another. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull my chair up here, go onto this little bit of a diagonal view, and we're going to have our hands out in front of us. Okay, so we're going to start off with our hands. So right now I've got my palm facing down, and I'm going to squeeze my grip as tight as I can. And I'm just going to hold there for a brief moment, and then open back up. And again, I'm going to squeeze as tight as I can, and open back up. And again, squeeze. This is number 3. And open back up. I'm sure when you're squeezing, you can feel that all the way up in the arm, right? So we'll do that again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze as tight as you can. And open back up. All right, that's 4. We're gonna do one more here. Squeeze again, as tight as you can. And open back up. All right, cool. We'll just shake that off for a moment. Let that rest. And all we're doing here is we're just working on something that our body does naturally. Anytime you pick something up, right, you're going to use that grip. So we're just practicing that at home. This is something that you can do every single day. I mean, not a day goes by where you're not going to end up picking something up, more than likely. And this is something that you can do while you're watching TV or checking out something online or listening to music or anything. Even while having breakfast, you could just be doing that while having coffee. Okay, anyway, we're going to jump right back into it. This time for this set, we're going to have our palms facing up, okay? Now for this one, if it doesn't quite feel comfortable, go back to palms facing down. That's okay too. And if you can't quite get all of them, just get as many as you can, okay? So we're still going to sit up straight and tall here. We'll have our hands out in front of us, and now we're going to squeeze and open back up. Take a nice deep breath here. Breathe in again. And we're going to squeeze as tight as we can. And open back up. Good. Let's do that one again. Squeeze. Open back up. And squeeze. And open back up. We're gonna do one more here. This is our last one, best one. And squeeze. And open back up. All right, good work. I'm just gonna shake that off. Excellent. So that's the hard part of our workout already done. Next up, we are going to cool down, and it's very important that you cool down anytime you're working out, just because we want to make sure our heart rate comes down comfortably, that we stretch so that we're not sore tomorrow. We don't want to have any kind of risk of injury. This is going to bring that risk way, way down. Okay, so we'll start off nice and simple, doing our triceps. We'll take our one hand and we're going to put it right onto our spine. Take the other hand, put that one on the elbow, and we're just going to gently guide that down. Now, in this position, I still have room for my head, room for my neck. I'm not pushing my neck way, way down, so be sure that you're not doing that. If your mobility is limited and you can't quite get to this position, that's okay. Just get as close to it as you can. And again, be aware of that neck. Don't put your neck in an uncomfortable position. Nice slow, deep breaths here. Good stuff. All right, so we'll open up as wide as you can. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side now. So with that other hand, I'm gonna put that right on my spine. This open hand here, I'm gonna put that on my elbow and just gently guide that down. And again, make sure you have room for your head. Good stuff, good stuff. Open back up. Okay, I'm gonna move back just a bit here so you can see what I'm gonna do with my legs. Next up, we're gonna do a hamstring stretch. So we're gonna sit towards the end of the chair. I'll go back a little bit more. Sit towards the end of the chair. I'll start off with, this is my right. So my right leg here, I'm gonna put out onto the heel. I'm going to sit up straight and tall, and from here, so this leg you can see it's still planted on the floor. I'm going to have my back straight and I'm going to lean forward. Now I don't have to go very far to already feel that stretch in the back of my leg and my hamstrings. If you're having a hard time feeling this stretch, there's a bit of a trick to it. You want to be aware of your pelvis. A lot of people tend to naturally have it round forward, causing the back to round as well. This is shortening the muscle that we're trying to lengthen out. If you do the opposite, where you aim it up and back, you're going to lengthen out that one, making all hamstring stretches much easier and much more effective. So I'm just going to wait in this position here for a moment. And just breathe. Again, let that heart rate come down. Really just feel that stretch. Good, okay. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. So again, this leg is on the heel. I'm going to sit up straight and tall and lean forward. Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, I've got one more stretch for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cross my leg over my other leg. I'm going to sit up straight and tall, and I'm going to lean forward. So it's similar to that last stretch. This one you're going to feel more in the glutes, in the side of the butt. So if you need to make this stretch a little bit more intense, with that one hand, you can just gently guide that knee down. A lot of people won't even need to do that. A lot of times just getting into this position, you're going to feel the stretch. If you are having a hard time, keep in mind that pelvis trick I just mentioned. So with your pelvis, you want to aim it up and back. Goodness. And And this stretch, along with the one that we just did, the hamstring stretch, both are very good for back pain. A lot of times the pelvis can get kind of pulled out of where it wants to be because of tight hamstrings. So if you stretch them out, allow them to relax and kind of regain its normal positioning, it can relieve some of that pain. So a lot of people feel that these stretches help with back pain. So if that's you, maybe spend a little bit more time after the video and do another round of these stretches. I should mention too, stretches can be done every single day, and they can make a world of difference for pain relief. I know for me personally, I use them to help with tension headaches anytime those come around, and they are not pleasant. All right, so we're gonna get back in this same stretch here. So as you can see, my other leg now is crossed over. I'm gonna keep my back straight. I'm gonna lean forward. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'm not quite as tight on this side, so I'm gonna need to just gently guide that side down just a little bit. Oh, and we're just gonna hang out here for a moment. Oh, pardon me. Snuck up on me. All right, good stuff. Ooh. Well, we've had quite a workout today. So what we did was a full body workout. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you had a good time. And if you enjoyed these, I hope that you'll come check it out again. We're making all kinds of videos like this, so be sure to keep an eye on the page and you'll see more. All right, personal trainer Jesse Bird. Hope you have a great day.